Word explanation. Tivael. Main character, a wandering painter. Archduke. Noble ruler, the one who Tivael seeks to impress. Donkey. Tivael's mode of transportation and companion. Captain of Guards. Official who challenges Tivael's entry into the palace. Painting. Tivael's artistic skill, the focus of his interaction with the Archduke and courtiers. Feast. Symbol of opulence and generosity, provided by the Archduke to Tivael and courtiers. Courtiers. Members of the Archduke's court, subjects of Tivael's portrait painting. Portrait. Representation of individuals, especially the Archduke and his courtiers. Curtains. Protective coverings for Tivael's painting, also used symbolically by Tivael. Delay. Tivael's tactic to prolong completion of the painting, allowing him time to escape. Deception. Tivael's strategy to manipulate the perception of the courtiers, revealing their true nature. Departure. Tivael's exit from the palace and the story's conclusion. Question and answer. 1. Who is the main character of the story? Tivael, a wandering painter. 2. What mode of transportation does Tivael use? Tivael rides a donkey named Jeff. 3. How does Tivael's appearance attract attention? His smartly set cap with 3 bright feathers dancing in the breeze. 4. Why does the captain of the guards challenge Tivael's presence at the palace? He perceives Tivael as a loafer and remarks on his thin appearance, comparing him and his donkey to skeletons. 5. How does Tivael persuade the captain of the guards to allow him entry? Tivael claims to be a painter from Flanders, knowing the demand for Flemish painters in Europe. 6. What motivates the Archduke to grant Tivael an audience? The Archduke's interest in Flemish paintings leads him to entertain Tivael's proposal of presenting a painting of the Virgin Mary. 7. What role does Tivael aspire to in the Archduke's court? Tivael hopes to become the court painter, filling the vacant position left by the deceased court painter. 8. What request does Tivael make regarding his hungry state? He subtly hints at his hunger, suggesting he'd hang himself on a leg of mutton unless provided with food. 9. How does Tivael secure provisions for his donkey, Jeff? He requests the Archduke to care for Jeff, who has been feeding on thorns and grass along the way. The Archduke orders Jeff to be treated like one of his own animals. 10. What lavish event takes place at the palace? A sumptuous supper akin to a wedding feast is served, with abundant food and wine flowing freely. 11. What responsibility does the Archduke assign to Tivael? The Archduke tasks Tivael with painting a portrait of him and his courtiers, desiring to immortalize his legacy in art. 12. How does Tivael plan to deceive the courtiers in his painting? He claims that only those with noble blood will see the finished portrait, implying that others won't perceive it, exploiting their vanity and desire for distinction. 13. What are the courtiers' reactions upon viewing the painting? They express admiration for the portrait, believing themselves depicted accurately and in a flattering light. 14. Who challenges Tivael's claim about the painting's visibility? The Duke's jester declares his inability to see the painting, revealing Tevial's deception. 15. How does Tevial respond to the jester's challenge? Tevial dismisses the jester's words as foolishness and uses it as an opportunity to leave the palace unnoticed. 16. What is the significance of the courtier's inability to see the painting? It highlights Tevial's clever deception and underscores the theme of superficiality and vanity among the courtiers. 17. How does Tevial use language to manipulate the situation in his favor? He employs flattery and appeals to the Archduke's vanity and desire for legacy, convincing him to accept his proposal. 18. What tactics does Tevial use to delay the completion of the painting? He requests additional time, claiming the need for perfection and the inclusion of minor details. 19. What is the Archduke's reaction to Tevial's delays? Initially patient, the Archduke becomes insistent on seeing the painting, ultimately giving Tevial a final deadline. 20. How does Tevial capitalize on the courtier's desires and insecurities? He promises to depict them favorably in the painting, exploiting their vanity and fear of being portrayed negatively. 21. What is the significance of Tevial's departure at the end of the story? It symbolizes his escape from potential danger and his rejection of the court's superficiality and deceit. 22. What does Tevial's use of deception reveal about his character? It demonstrates his cunning and resourcefulness in navigating challenging situations and achieving his goals. 23. How does Tevial's painting ultimately serve his interests? It secures him a prestigious position as the court painter and earns him a substantial reward from the Archduke. 24. How does Tevial manipulate the courtier's perception of the painting's visibility? He uses their vanity and desire for status to convince them that only those of noble blood can see the painting, thereby ensuring their admiration. 25. What role does Tevial's donkey, Jeff, play in the story? Jeff serves as Tevial's companion and means of transportation, representing his humble origins and resourcefulness. 26. How does Tevial's background as a wandering painter influence the story? It underscores his outsider status and his ability to navigate different social environments using his wit and artistic skill. 27. What theme does Tevial's interaction with the courtiers highlight? The theme of deception and appearance versus reality, illustrating how individuals can be misled by their own vanity and desires. 28. How does Tevial's cunning contrast with the courtier's behavior? Tevial's cunning allows him to outsmart the courtiers and escape unscathed, while the courtiers' vanity blinds them to his deception and their own flaws. 29. What role does flattery play in Tevial's interactions with the Archduke? Tevial uses flattery to manipulate the Archduke's vanity and ambition, convincing him to accept his proposal and reward him generously. 30. How does Tevial's departure signify his triumph in the story? Tevial's departure marks his successful escape from potential danger and his rejection of the court's superficiality and deceit, highlighting his victory over the courtier's vanity. Highlighted part explanation. Tevial's arrival at the palace. The moment when Tevial arrives at the palace and encounters the captain of the guards, setting the stage for his interaction with the Archduke and the courtiers. Tyval's proposal to the Archduke. Tyval's bold proposal to the Archduke, offering his painting of the Virgin Mary and suggesting himself as the court painter, showcasing his confidence and cunning. Feast at the palace. The lavish feast provided by the Archduke, symbolizing his opulence and generosity, and serving as a backdrop for Tyval's negotiations and interactions with the courtiers. Tyval's deception regarding the portrait. Tyval's deceptive claim about the visibility of the portrait, manipulating the courtiers' perceptions and exploiting their vanity, ultimately leading to his escape from danger. Courtiers' admiration for the portrait. The courtiers' admiration for the portrait, believing themselves depicted favorably, highlighting their vanity and superficiality, and showcasing Tyval's skill in manipulation. Tyval's departure. Tyval's calm departure from the palace, symbolizing his triumph over the courtiers' deceit and vanity, and his rejection of their superficial world, marking his ultimate victory. Archduke's reaction to Tyval's delays. The Archduke's changing reactions to Tyval's delays in completing the painting, illustrating his patience turning into insistence and setting the stage for Tyval's departure. Tyval's cunning in negotiating with the Archduke and courtiers. Tyval's shrewd negotiation tactics, using flattery, deception, and manipulation to secure his position as the court painter and earn a substantial reward from the Archduke. Tyval's interaction with the captain of the guards and other courtiers. Tyval's initial encounter with the captain of the guards and subsequent interactions with various courtiers, highlighting his wit, resourcefulness, and ability to outsmart others. Courtiers' reactions to Tyval's deception and departure. The courtiers' reactions to Tyval's deception and departure, revealing their vanity, gullibility, and ultimately, their inability to see beyond appearances and superficiality. Tyval's humble origins and resourcefulness. Tyval's humble origins as a wandering painter and his resourcefulness in navigating the world of nobility and intrigue, showcasing his resilience and adaptability. Archduke's generosity and desire for legacy. The Archduke's generosity in rewarding Tyval and his desire to leave behind a lasting legacy through art, reflecting his ambition and pride as a noble ruler. Tyval's escape from danger and triumph. Tyval's escape from potential danger and his triumph over the courtiers' deceit and vanity, marking his victory in the story and his rejection of their superficial world. Grammar, sentence structure and example. Compound sentences. His cap was set smartly on his head, and the 3 bright feathers on it danced in the breeze as he rode. Complex sentences. He bowed low and said, "May God bless you, Sir Captain. If I look like a skeleton, it is not my fault. I'm very hungry." Dialogue tags. Well, if you are a painter and if you come from Flanders, you may come in, said the captain somewhat impressed. Direct speech. My lord, you are the most generous of masters. You have filled my lamp with oil. It will forever burn in your honor. Indirect speech. Tyval paused a few moments for his words to sink in. Then he continued, You must forgive me, Your Highness, if I've dared to hope that this picture will please you. Adjective phrases. The captain of the guards was a tall, well-built, red-haired man of about 25. Prepositional phrases. Before long, supper was served and it was like a wedding feast. Modal verbs. The Archduke smiled and said, "Well, my dear fellow, you will certainly have something more solid than dreams to feed on." Present perfect tense. The Archduke smiled and said, "Well, my dear fellow, you will certainly have something more solid than dreams to feed on." Imperative sentences. Your Highness, may it please you to remember me and my donkey, Jeff, for just one more minute, Tivile replied. Past continuous tense. For 30 days Tivile and his assistants feasted themselves on the choicest dishes and drank the finest wines. Articles, definite and indefinite. The captain of the guards called out to him, "Hey there, you fellow on the donkey. We don't allow any loafers here." Conjunctions, coordinating and subordinating. The captain was playing a game of chess with another officer. He looked curiously at Tivile. Adverbs of manner, time, frequency. Tivile quickly replied, "Your lordship's slightest wish is to me command." Conditional sentences, first and second conditional. Well, if you are a painter and if you come from Flanders, you may come in, said the captain somewhat impressed. Interrogative sentences, direct and indirect. Where do you come from? He asked. Noun clauses, subject and object. The captain knew that Flemish painters and their pictures were in great demand all over Europe. Parallel structure. In the midst of such valor and beauty I will make my lord and lady shine forth like the moon surrounded by lanterns. Gerund phrases, as subject and object. Tivile paused a few moments for his words to sink in. Then he continued, "You must forgive me, Your Highness, if I've dared to hope that this picture will please you." Conditional clauses, mixed and unreal. If you leave out a mole, a simple, or a single grey hair, I'll have you slaughtered like a pig. Relative clauses, defining and non-defining. The next day Tivile asked the Archduke to allow him to see all the courtiers who were to be painted along with him. Intensifiers, very, quite, most, etc. My donkey has been feeding himself fairly well all along the way on the thorns in the hedges and the grass on the roadside. Adverbial clauses, time, place, manner, reason, condition, contrast. He looked curiously at